Oh, I think McMahon can take the Eagles quite a way. He has a good cast of characters around him. Keith Byers, Keith Jackson's the go-to. The development of Fred Barnett, the wide receiver. I think to the man, the Eagles feel that McMahon's leadership qualities, his ability to audibilize, the decisions he's going to make are going to take the Eagles quite a way.
Now, while with the Chicago Bears, McMahon had an excellent defensive unit. That appears to be the case here with the Philadelphia Eagles, who come off an 11-sack performance last week against the Dallas Cowboys. What do you feel the philosophy of the Pittsburgh Steelers will be against that powerful Eagle front four?
I think the Steelers are going to try to run right at the Eagles. They're definitely going to try to avoid the 2nd and long and the 3rd and long passing situations. What they would like to do is keep the 3rd down yardage down to a minimum where Philadelphia's defense will have to play run and pass. I think if they can do that, they'll have a good chance to win the ball game.
The Pittsburgh Steelers won the toss, and they will receive. The deep man is Rod Woodson, averaging close to 20 yards per kickoff return. A win today by Pittsburgh would be their best start since '82. A win by the Eagles would be their best start. Oh, good coverage. A win by the Eagles would be their best start in 10 years. The hard hit by number 51, the backup linebacker, William Thomas. And Pittsburgh will start out from their 9-yard line. A look at the offensive line. The one change there, Terry Long, back as a starter for the injured Brian Blankenship. Bubby Brister at quarterback, Barry Foster, Merrill Hodge are the running backs in the alternate set. Dwight Stone, number 20, comes on for the extra tight end, Eric Green. And the Steelers right to the ground, a big hole for Foster. With Tim Worley sidelined, he has been playing halfback and fullback. Worley out with the injured knee. Ben Smith made the stop. Let's check out that Philadelphia defensive alignment. The front four going to town last week against the Cowboys. Reggie White, Jerome Brown back as a starter. Mike Pitts, Clyde Simmons. And this an excellent cast led by Seth Joyner at the outside linebacker position in the nickel. You see the changes. Otis Smith checks in. 2nd down and 5. And Merrill Hodge, for last week, picked up only 13 yards on 6 carries, is short of the 1st down.
Well, you notice the first 2 plays, Pittsburgh right at Philadelphia. And in talking with Bubby Brister yesterday, he said that that's exactly what they want to do. Keep these 3rd downs down to very, very short yardage like they have here, 3rd and 1.
And a 3rd and 1 from the 18 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Record of 2-1. Victories over San Diego and New England. Lost to Buffalo 52-34. That created havoc with the defensive statistics of the Steelers. They did not have an overly impressive game last week in defeating New England by the score of 20-6. Brister with the time has a wide open Eric Green. Green ball down by Wes Hopkins, but he went for 32 yards.
Well, you see Brister taking advantage of Philadelphia having extra linebackers in the game on short yardage, is able to get Green down the field on a corner pattern, and there's only one safety back there, Hopkins, to make the play.
Eric Green set back by a knee sprain in preseason, but they have worked him back into the lineup. He's been doubling with Mike Mularkey. Also, we'll see some service in the backfield. Barry Foster slashing across the 45-yard line. Hopkins on the stop. There's Foster. Last week ran for only 32 yards on 14 carries. That after a 121-yard game against Buffalo.
Well, you notice Eric Green lined up in the backfield here. The first few plays, they're moving him around, tight end, and also using him as a back.
Get the idea, the one-time tight end offensive coordinator Joe Walton likes to go to the tight end. Now Green is split wide to the left side, and Brister was nearly picked off. Seth Joyner had a shot at it.
Seth Joyner is a very, very underrated player in the NFC. He's a solid linebacker and has been a very good player for the Eagles for a long time.
Seth telling us the other day that He wants to be a television sports cameraman. He actually operated a camera for a Philadelphia 76er game last year, but he said he found it more difficult than he expected.
A little safer than what he's doing now, as long as he can stay up in the stands high.
Jeff Graham, the rookie from Ohio State, a split wide to the left side for this 3rd down and 2. Again, Green looking for the 1st down. Andre Waters trying to keep him away from the marker. Let's see where they spot it. Eric Green at 6'5", 285 pounds, towering over the 5'11", Andre Waters.
Well, again, Brister trying to keep the short yardage on 3rd down and is able to dump it to Green very quickly. I think there's a question as to whether he fumbled the ball forward here or not. You're not allowed to do that.
All right, this is the tail end of the play.
There you see the ball going out of bounds now. You're not allowed to fumble that ball forward.
Well, it is a 1st down for Pittsburgh. Ball was fumbled out of bounds, so the Steelers maintain possession, and they continue the drive. They are now at the Philadelphia 40-yard line.
These first 2 sequences have gone just like Pittsburgh wants them to go.
Now Dwight Stone is flanked to the right side, and Brister comes up throwing. On 1st down, he could not find anyone. And completes to Green, short of the 1st down. Covered by the combination of Byron Evans and Seth Joyner.
Brister's trying to work on the Philadelphia cornerback. Eric Allen pumps a little short out and then is trying to get the receiver deep, but Allen covered it, and Brister then had to improvise and was able to do so, getting the ball to Green. 2nd and short.
Now the Steelers from their 32-yard line. They have Chris Callaway, the 2nd-year player out of Michigan, flanked to the left side. And again, it is Green in the backfield. That's Green peeling off to the left. Foster. And he is stopped short of the 1st down by the left corner, Ben Smith. There's Ben, number 26. He was a question mark coming into today because of a pulled hamstring. Rich Kotite was telling us he was toying with the idea of starting Isaiah Jenkins, but Smith said he's all right, and he is in the starting lineup.
Yeah, their number 1 draft choice from 2 years ago. Philadelphia is a defense very difficult to run wide on. That last play, the Steelers trying to outrun them, and most of the time the Eagle team speeds a little too much for those wide runs.
This is the 9th play of the drive, a 3rd down and 3 from the 33. Lips in motion. Brister had the time and has the 1st down with Hodge. Merrill Hodge working his way inside the 20. And a penalty marker is down. Hodge went for 17. Let's see what the call is. Referee is Bernie Kukar.
Five-yard face mask penalty on the defense, number 48. Back it on. 1st down.
That is Wes Hopkins, the free safety, called for the face mask.
You see Hodge blocking to the left, Brister looking to the right. Hodge is one of his last outlets there. Catches the ball, and at the end of the play, you see the face mask with Hopkins, 48.
Good drive by the Steelers. 1st down at the 12. And Brister shovel pass to Hodge, and he runs it in for the touchdown. The Pittsburgh Steelers on this opening drive going the length of the field.
It's a crafty little maneuver by the Pittsburgh offense. It's 2 plays in a row. Hodge sets up to block. Brister looking down the field. Hodge is his last outlet, and to Brister's credit, under a little pressure, he got it to him. Hodge sneaks in the end zone. The defenders on Philadelphia had their backs turned.
10 plays, 91 yards, in 5 minutes and 6 seconds. And now here's Gary Anderson adding the extra point. A 12-yard touchdown play with Brister completing the shovel pass to Hodge.
You see Brister rolling to his right. Hodge sneaking through the line. Brister finds him late and just shovels it almost underhanded. And as you see, the Philadelphia defenders have their backs turned in a man-to-man situation. They don't find Hodge till he's across the goal line.
6 minutes gone by in this first quarter. Pittsburgh with a 7-0 lead. Here's the kickoff from Gary Anderson. Ron Harris back with Heath Sherman, and it's Sherman on the return. Bringing out to the 20-yard line. Rob McGovern, backup linebacker, made the stop, and Jim McMahon and the Eagles stepping on to look at the offensive line. The one change here at right guard, Dennis McKnight for the injured Ron Sold, who's out with an ankle. Keith Sherman and Keith Byers are the running backs. The receivers, Fred Barnett with Kenny Jackson and Keith Jackson. For Kenny Jackson, his first start since back in '87. The alternate set for Rich Kotite and the Eagles will feature Mickey Schuler coming in as the second tight end. And Schuler and McMahon have shown good rapport the last couple of weeks. So the Eagles from their 21, they're trailing by the score of 7-0. McMahon to the ground for Sherman. And a short pickup. Last week in Dallas, he carried 6 times for -2 yards. Appeared to be on the sluggish side, getting his timing down. The front 7 for Pittsburgh. Aaron Jones, who last week against the Patriots had perhaps his finest game in the NFL. Strong core of linebackers: Hinkle, Nickerson, Olszewski, and Lloyd. And in the secondary, Johnson, Woodson, Lake, and Everett. When they go to the dime, Gerald Williams comes in as the down lineman. He's joined by Griffin and Shelton. A 2nd and 7 from the 24 as the Eagles go with the double tight end look. Crowd responding to the movement at the Pittsburgh side of the line. Sherman picking up the first down. Heath Sherman called by his teammates love seat and a sofa because of his extra wide shoulder pads. He goes 6 foot, about 205.
I don't know where you get these names from.
Well, Bill, I'm not making it up. It's late work researching.
Offside, defense, penalty, decline.
So the offside is declined. Look at the Schick Tracer 10-minute checker. New England with the early lead on Houston. Washington over 0-3 Cincinnati, and Atlanta leading the Raiders. So that's the Parcells upset special.
That's right.
First down at the 35 for Philadelphia. Sherman again with a short advance. Last year, Heath Sherman came on very strong at midseason. He came in late, missed the first 2 preseason games, so he is still working his way back.
But he had a very, very great rookie year, and he was a big factor in Philadelphia's offense last year. He had several 100-yard games, and he kind of became their featured guy for a while. I think one thing that McMahon has to work with is the versatility of the athletes on offense here. Byers and Keith Jackson, he can split them wide. He can keep them in tight. Here you see Byers out wide going up against Carnell Lake, the Steelers strong safety.
Keith Jackson has been a forgotten man the last couple of weeks. Has not seen the football. He does right there. And goes for 15. Run out by Jerry Olszewski.
McMahon's on a little rollout. Now, you got Byers and Jackson on the same side, and I can tell you firsthand, being a defensive coach, when you have those 2 guys together, it gives the defense a lot of problems. After McMahon releases the ball, you can see that Greg Lloyd kind of roughs him up a little bit, lets McMahon know this is going to be a football game.
2 weeks ago, Jim McMahon took a number of hard hits. He's taken over for the injured Randall Cunningham. He has been injury-plagued throughout his career. Off the play action, McMahon is hauled down by Greg Lloyd. The outside linebacker, Greg Lloyd, with his 3rd sack of the season.
Greg Lloyd's Another very, very underrated player. I would say the counterpart to Joyner on the Eagles for the Steelers. Keith Byers had him on protection there, and he's going to have to do a little bit better job than that on Lloyd if he's going to keep the heat off McMahon today.
On the subject of McMahon's injuries, quite a portfolio. The problem with the Philadelphia Eagles with Cunningham out. Now, if McMahon should get injured, you're looking at backups Pat Ryan, who's not played in 2 years, and a rookie from Baylor by the name of Brad Gable.
I'm sure they don't want to consider that contingency.
Again, the pressure on McMahon. Sherman off the reception. Jerry Olszewski and Rod Woodson combining on the stop. Jim McMahon spent 7 years with the Chicago Bears, 1 with San Diego. This is his 2nd season with the Eagles. And you go back to 1984 with that hairline fracture of the right hand. Onto tendonitis, more shoulder problems. That's been the major injury or problem with McMahon.
They've got to keep him healthy now. They don't have any choice right now. Pat Ryan just got here, and they have the rookie Brad Gable. The offensive line of Philadelphia has got to do a little better job than they've done here in this first series.
It's a 3rd down and 10 from the 45-yard line. You saw the movement as McMahon is able to complete. Has a free play with Byers. Rod Woodson on the stop. That was Gerald Williams who jumped for Pittsburgh. Byers went for 26 yards.
Well, here's another example of Byers' versatility. McMahon using him as a little outlet, get a lineman in front of him. You see him in the open field, 250 pounds, and I guarantee you that those defensive backs don't like to see a guy that size down there loose in the secondary.
Byers goes 6'1", 238 pounds. 5.5 to go in this first quarter, and the Eagles first down at the 19. It's Pittsburgh with a 7-0 lead. McMahon has opened up 4 for 4 for 61 yards. Getting the protection, and he threw that one away. Keith Jackson in the area.
Donald Evans on the pass rush this time. Gets McMahon late. That's 3 times McMahon's down already here in the first series. Again, Philadelphia's offensive line's got to do just a little bit better job winning those one-on-one battles if McMahon's going to have time to throw it efficiently.
The Eagle offensive line has been shuffled over the last few years. Right now, it's Heller, Colley, Alexander, McKnight, and the #1 draft pick at right tackle, Antone Davis. 2nd and 10 from the 19. Again, movement. They give to Sherman, who tried the left side. Greg Lloyd made the stop. No flags thrown.
Eagles were in a formation that time that kind of has 3 tight end types all on one side, kind of almost like a single wing. You see those guys all on one side over here. There's Byers. This guy was over there. He came in motion, coming back across. They like to do that to get a little overload to try to outnumber them, and they run back away from the formation straight.
It's a 3rd and 7 at the 16, 10th play of the drive. Steelers open with a long drive, going 91 yards for the touchdown. McMahon with some deception getting it to Byers. David Johnson made the stop, but it sets up a 1st and goal for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, this is another example. You see Byers, he can line up at wide receiver. We've seen him there already. Either of these 2 spots, the tight end or the wing back, any of these 3 spots back here, or the weak side tight end. And that's what gives you problems with the Philadelphia offense. You got a guy like Byers, you don't know where he's coming from. They've gotten the ball to him here 3 or 4 different times in this drive, and it's a tribute to his versatility and ability. The ultimate satellite player, Marv.
I know you like that term, satellite player. Play action by McMahon, and he throws it away. Keith Byers told us at practice the other day, and lining up at so many different positions, he's had more to learn, but he finally feels he's got it all down. We asked him what's the most challenging position to learn. He said tight end.
I think it's because he's been a back. He was a tailback and a fullback at Ohio State, and now all of a sudden he's up on the line being confronted by those big outside linebackers, not letting them release the way they want to. You know, when you're in the backfield, you got a little space to maneuver when you go in those pass patterns. On the line, they jam you, they hold you up. It's a little tougher, and that's been his biggest adjustment.
It's a 2nd and goal from the 5. Robert Drummond now joining Keith Sherman in the backfield. Byers peeling off. Here's Drummond battling toward the goal line. Robert Drummond, a 3-year player out of Syracuse. He comes off an injury hit season, set back by a hand problem a year ago. Spent a good portion of the season on injured reserve.
You see the rookie right tackle, Anton Davis, driving the Pittsburgh defensive end, Aaron Jones, right on his back. And Byers is helping lead through there. They've got a pretty good power formation. Ball's on the 1-yard line now.
Philadelphia's #1 draft choice out of Tennessee, Anton Davis at right tackle. It's the 13th play of the drive. 3rd and goal from the 1 against Sherman, and Drummond are the setbacks. Here's Drummond. Steelers feel they stacked him up, and he was stopped short of the goal line. However, they may have collected the first down. Keith Willis keeping Drummond away from the goal line.
Well, this is one of those early coaches' decisions. 4th down on the 6-inch line. Playing at home, it's quite obvious which Kotite's going to do it here. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go right back over Davis.
Well, a timeout has been called. When we resume, it will be 4th and inches.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Lexus Luxury Automobiles, the result of a relentless pursuit of perfection. By Kentucky Fried Chicken, nobody's cooking like today's KFC. By Liberty Mutual, we're our customers' advocate at Liberty Mutual because we understand the costs involved. And by Coors Light, the silver bullet is the right beer now.
Welcome back, Veterans Stadium, Philadelphia. Marv Albert with Bill Parcells. 7-0 Pittsburgh leading Philadelphia on their first possession. The Steelers going 91 yards. In fact, last week, the Dallas Cowboys for the entire game managed only 90 yards against the Eagles. Very first drive, Steelers go 91 for the touchdown, capping it off with the shovel pass from Brister to Hodge. And here are the Eagles coming right back. 13 plays, 78 yards. It's a 4th and inches from just outside the goal line with 2 minutes and 24 seconds to go in this opening quarter.
And strangely enough, or coincidentally, the key plays in both drives, respectively, have been little outlet passes to Byers and Hodge. Similar type plays that have gotten both teams in scoring position.
Robert Drummond and Heath Sherman are the running backs. Byers in motion, and it's McMahon for the touchdown. And a penalty marker has been thrown in the end zone.
Well, that's one of those demonstration things. They spiked the ball, the offensive lineman spiked the ball, and they're calling that
We have a demonstration penalty of 5 yards will be assessed on the kickoff.
Well, there will be the demonstration call, although NFL teams no longer will be penalized for high fives in the end zone or tossing football into the seats. There have been some modifications made to tone it down. A kinder and gentle rule put forth by the NFL. Ruzek putting it through to tie the game at 7. As Roger Ruzek gets set to kick it off, let's check the Schick Tracer 10-minute ticker. Bill Belichick going up against Ray Handley in the Cleveland Giant game. And Parcells upset special still looking good. Indianapolis now in front of Detroit 10-0. Dickerson on the 2-yard touchdown run. Biasucci a 20-yard field goal. Rod Woodson is back for the kick. Woodson has exceptional speed. Beautiful return across the 35-yard line. Tripped up by Otis Smith. Woodson went for 30. We'll take a break. Back after this. Today, another step backward on his road to recovery for Terry Long in the starting lineup for the injured Brian Blankenship. Terry Long, a starter right guard for 7 years, making it back from that alleged suicide attempt back in late July that came one day after he told teammates that he tested positive for steroids. Long has been cleared by doctors, and he is awaiting a ruling from NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue concerning a possible suspension. Barry Foster got the call. Blankenship placed on injured reserve with a cervical spine injury, which is career threatening.
Well, that's unfortunate, but that creates an opportunity for Long to get back in there. And of course, he's had a long summer, and I'm sure he feels pretty good about just getting back in and having the opportunity to play.
It's a 2nd down and 5. Once again, the tight end Green lining up in the backfield. Brister taking a long look. And Brister throwing deep for Green. Eric Green in this first quarter has just destroyed the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, I think the situation here is that they're expecting Green at the tight end. I'm positive he wasn't the primary receiver, but the inside running game has kept the rush off Bubby Brister. He's had time to look around and find the second guy, and this time, covered by a linebacker, it was Eric Green 40 yards down the field.
He went for 50 on that reception. So it's a 2nd down and 8 off the carry by Barry Foster. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles are tied at 7 as time is running down in this first quarter.
That inside running has definitely slowed down the Philadelphia pass rush. Now Pittsburgh's trying to spread them a little bit here.
Green is split wide left and Lips to the right. Brister over the middle. Touchdown! Again, Eric Green doing it in front of the strong safety, Andre Waters.
Now you see Green split out, and when you split your tight end out, normally he's not covered by a cornerback. He's covered by Andre Waters, the strong safety. Green, so much taller. Brister leads him inside. 280 pounds. Waters can't get around him. Touchdown, Pittsburgh.
2nd touchdown of the season for Green, who scored 7 last year, a Pittsburgh Steelers tight end record. Gary Anderson increasing it to a 14-7 lead for the Steelers, who have been able to score on their first 2 possessions. Bubby Brister off to the good start, 7 for 8, 128 yards. We're set for an update. Let's go to Bob Costas.
Well, Marv, for his upset selection, Bill went with the Atlanta Falcons at home over the Raiders. Here's Deion Sanders hitting Jay Schrader from the blind side. Fumble scooped up by Jesse Tuggle. 18 yards later, he's in the end zone, and the Falcons have a 7-0 first quarter lead. Back to Marv and Bill.
All right, Bob. Pittsburgh 14-7 over Philadelphia here at Veterans Stadium in Philly with 9 seconds remaining in this first quarter.
There's Andre Waters, one of my old nemesis from down here in Philadelphia.
Although he was awfully friendly towards you yesterday.
Well, he gave me a big hug. I guess you can see he's a little upset right now, and I don't blame him. You know, those safeties are not used to seeing the size guys like Eric Green split out wide there. And, you know, you get a guy 6'5", 280, those defensive backs are not used to covering a guy like that, or that big, when he's split out wide.
Return by Rod Harris. And a good one by Harris, 3-year player. out of Texas A&M. As this first quarter comes to a close, Harris goes for 33. Pittsburgh with a 14-7 lead on Philadelphia. On to the second quarter. In Philadelphia, the Pittsburgh Steelers with a 14-7 lead on Jim McMahon and his Philadelphia Eagles. We chatted with Jim on Friday, and I asked how long does he hope to play. He's 32 years old right now. He says wants to go into his late 30s, maybe 40. He says still loves the game, loves training camp. How often have you heard that? Loves being around the guys, but he said he likes to be around because there are a lot of humorous guys. Keeps finding new guys to play practical jokes on.
Well, you know, sometimes you get older, you appreciate the game more, and I think that's the case with Jim. I think he realizes that the clock is ticking, and he appreciates what he's had, and I think he thinks some of the things that happened to him in Chicago, some of the antics, took away from what he did on the field, and I think now he looks forward to just producing another winner here in Philadelphia.
Keith Byers stopped by Kenny Davidson. Jim McMahon could have signed as a plan B with Green Bay following last season. Told us he would have if he were assured of starting, but when Don Mikowski came back in, he figured he'd be the backup, and if he's going to be a backup, he'd rather be a backup with a contending team like the Eagles. But now he's in the starting lineup, and he's able to complete with Fred Barnett. Good coverage again by the Steelers, led by the right corner, Rod Woodson. The newest Philadelphia Eagle, Roy Green, has checked into the lineup, a man you are very familiar with.
That makes my knees start shaking. When every time I see that jersey, I can tell you, in my 10 years in the NFC, along with Tony Dorsett, that guy right there, Roy Green, is the guy I feared the most. He outright cost us the division in 1984, and I just seen that number 81, only it was always had that burgundy jersey on. Looks a little strange in green.
So you're trembling, your knees trembling, shaking. So dramatic, Phil. Here's McMahon stepping up and has Green. So Roy Green with his first reception as an Eagle, run out by the free safety, Thomas Everett.
Well, there he is. It didn't take him long to make an impact. You see, it's kind of a man-to-man situation with a fake screen, and then Green goes back against the grain and is able to get loose. And, of course, McMahon knows what kind of weapon he has. He had one out there in Chicago named Willie Gault, very similar type player to Roy Green.
Green went for 23. He was signed because Calvin Williams dislocated his left shoulder. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. First down at the 33-yard line. And McMahon goes the other way for Barnett. Lunging inside the 25, but he's short of the first down. Fred Barnett had a good one last week, 7 catches, 111 yards, and a touchdown against the Cowboys.
Well, here's Fred Barnett, who in his second year is really developing into a top-flight receiver. And you know, Barnett was a wishbone split end in college, along with Keith Jackson was a tight end at Oklahoma, and Barnett at Arkansas State. Sometimes it's hard to evaluate those wishbone guys because they never throw them the ball in college. But here's a guy, played in that, was mostly a blocker in college, developing into a real good wide receiver for the Eagles. 2nd and 1. Now Byers split way out to the left side. Inside handoff for Sherman, and has the first down. Ariel Safsky made the stop. How do you scout a wishbone receiver? I would think you have to take a close look during practice sessions, and then you still have to visualize how a player in that type of format would work out in a passing situation. Well, the problem is they don't practice any of the things in the wishbone offense that you ask them to do once they get to pro football. They're out there cracking down on the weak safeties and linebackers in order to make the running plays go. So you have to see them in other areas. It's very difficult. He goes first down at the 17. McMahon off the deep drop. In trouble, throwing end zone, and threw it away. Well, that's the thing McMahon will do. He'll throw it away. Done that 3 times already today.
Keith Jackson well covered, so he fired it high and far. Look at the ITT 10-minute ticker. Giants now with a 3-0 lead. A 44-yard field goal by Matt Barr. Don Shula going for win number 300 once again. Cincinnati 7-3 over Washington. Bengals at 0-3 coming in. New Orleans 7-0 over Minnesota. And Indianapolis leading Detroit. 2nd and 10 from the 17. 3.5 gone by. Second quarter. Steelers 14, Eagles 7. McMahon throwing end zone, and it is dropped by Jackson. The defenders may have gotten a piece of it. A combination of Olszewski and Lake providing the coverage.
Well, Jackson gets a free release off the line, working on double coverage here. Cornell Lake and Olszewski double them. And McMahon can't put the pressure on the defense running that Randall Cunningham could have, so they can afford to double. And Jackson was telling us the other day, when Cunningham was in there, one of the linebackers always worried about him running. In this case, they don't have to worry. They can stay with the receivers.
It's a 3rd down and 10. McMahon pops it over the middle, completing to Green, his second catch, but he comes up short of the first down. Roy Green, a man who holds all of the Cardinal franchise receiving records. Last year spent some time with Cleveland in his 13th NFL season. He's 34 years old. In a 4th down and 3, a field goal attempt coming up for Roger Ruzek from 27 yards away. Jeff Fiegels will hold. Ruzek is 4 for 6 on the season. Last week against Dallas, hit from 42 and missed from 55. And this one is good. He just did get it inside the upright. 10.5 remaining in the second. Steelers 14 and the Eagles 10. Roger Ruzek getting set to kick it off with Rod Woodson back deep. There's Ruzek, one-time Dallas Cowboy, and Woodson, one of the best kick return men in the NFL, one of the fastest players in the league. Pittsburgh Steelers with a 14-10 lead on the Philadelphia Eagles. Both these clubs come in with records of 2-1. Short kick. And Woodson ankle tackle across the 20-yard line by Izell Jenkins. Next Sunday, following Ryder Cup Golf, NBC Sports presents more NFL action, beginning with NFL Live at the special time 3:30 Eastern. And many of you will see the AFC East showdown as Dan Marino and the Dolphins go up against the Jets. There's the full lineup. Check your local listings for the game in your area. I know you're working on your upset special for next week. You feel this one is already in the books?
Not quite. A little early to be counting this one, but
But you're a confident guy.
Well, I give it a lot of thought, Marv.
Yeah. Brister off the fake. Green with yet another reception. That is his 6th of the day. Run out by Eric Allen, a Pittsburgh first down. Eric Green, 6 catches, 112 yards.
Well, it seems like every time a guy catches a pass, his name is Green here today.
Whoa.
We've got Eric Green, and then we got Roy Green, and this guy, slow blocking, releases late in the flat. They fake a bootleg. Brister brings it out to him, and you notice those defensive backs don't take him on up in those shoulder pads.
What kind of adjustment would you make against Green, who is doing, it seems, whatever he wants to do?
Well, this is the creativeness of Pittsburgh's game plan. They put him in different situations.
Brister fumbled it off the hit by Simmons. And Terry Long able to recover, and the crowd reacts to Clyde Simmons, who last week against the Cowboys came up with a club record for a single game of 4.5 sacks. This the Eagles' first sack of the day.
Well, you got a missed assignment without question. I'm not pointing fingers. It looks like John Jackson, because there was a guy on Terry Long and there was one on Jackson. Jackson didn't block his guy. Long blocked his guy. Now, you can't let a guy like Simmons or Reggie White hit your quarterback in the back when he doesn't see him coming. You'll be short on quarterbacks in a hurry.
2nd and 19 at the 32. Eagles lead the NFL with 17 sacks. And Jesse Small all over Merrill Hodge, who picked up a couple.
This is the exact kind of situation that Brister hoped to avoid going into the game and talking with him. You see these guys, Simmons 5.5 sacks, Brown 4.5. These guys are going to get them, but they can only get them if it's long yardage situations. Now you have a 3rd down and 20. This is what the Philadelphia defense feeds on.
And the Eagles with 6 defensive backs for the 3rd and long by Pittsburgh, and the crowd has got into it. Penalty marker down. Brister throwing on the run and just fires one high and far. Couldn't find anyone. Illegal motion against the Steelers.
Well, Philadelphia will decline that penalty naturally and take the ball, but
Illegal motion on the offense, number 33. Penalty declined. 4th down.
you see what happens? The whole stadium comes alive. Everything that Philadelphia lives on comes alive when you let that situation occur. And it's all because of a missed assignment on the part of Pittsburgh. The first quarter went exactly the way Pittsburgh wanted to. They kept those 3rd and 2nd downs low. But here you go, 1 sack, and it ignites the whole Eagle team.
Rod Harris back for the first punt of the day by Dan Straczynski, who has had his ups and downs this season. Looks to get the hang time, and he does right here. Harris across the 25, and then he is hit out of the 27. 36-yard punt and a 7-yard return. 7:52 left, first half.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Chevrolet, the heartbeat of America, the cars more people depend on. By Old Milwaukee and Old Milwaukee Light, it doesn't get any better than this. By Canon Bubble Jet Personal Printers, laser quality at dot matrix prices. And by Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
Welcome back to Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia with Bill Parcells. I'm Marv Albert. 7:52 to go in this second quarter. First down at the 27 for the Eagles, who are trailing the Steelers 14-10. Sherman off the swing pass, took a hard hit, able to continue. Took the hit from Gerald Williams, 3-year man out of Purdue.
Williams is slowly working himself into a prominent role for the Steelers. You see him in there now playing the regular defense. He'll play on the nickel defense or on the dime defense as a 4th down lineman. And he's a guy that looks like an up-and-coming player for the Steelers. And physically, he's the kind of linebacker that I always prefer.
6'5", 244 pounds, exceptional size and speed. And that was an excellent first down pickup for the Eagles. You saw the stats a moment ago. It's 2nd down and 3. Philadelphia from its 34. Sherman, and he's hit back behind the line.
That's the last thing you want on 2nd and 3 is to wind up 3rd and 6 or 5. You know, when you run wide on that situation, occasionally you risk giving up that yardage. So what went from a good first down pickup, now they're in a disadvantageous 3rd down situation.
Disadvantageous.
That means
thank you. The Eagles with 8 rushes, only 18 yards, so they continue to have their difficulty with the ground game. 3rd down, 6 from the 31. 41 Byers peeling off. Flag thrown, and McMahon throwing high goes incomplete. Pass intended for Roy Green, covered by Larry Griffin. Last week, Jim McMahon had the ball sailing. He's telling us that the problem was the crown on the field, and Dallas couldn't seem to adjust to it. The call against Pittsburgh.
You see Jim
Offside,
McMahon.
number 57 on the defense. Repeat the down 5-yard penalty.
You see Jim a little exasperated there, and you know, he had a little problem down in Dallas last week with the crown on the field. He's throwing the ball a little bit high, which can happen when you're not used to throwing on a crown field. Now he's back on a level field, and it takes a little adjustment for a quarterback. It's something that people don't realize. You're throwing on different levels, and sometimes the ball sails a little high or a little low on you, depending on the nature of the field.
It's a third down and 1 at the 36. And took a long look and then went incomplete. Keith Jackson, the intended receiver, and pressure from the Steeler front three.
I think that's a situation there where Philadelphia may have outsmarted themselves a little bit. They had 1.5 yards to go on third down, and they came out in a widespread formation trying to catch Pittsburgh by surprise, but Pittsburgh adjusted well to it. You know, that down and distance there you could normally pick up running the ball.
Looked like Aaron Jones got a piece of it. Jeff Fiegels back to punt to Rod Woodson. Fiegels has had a terrific season, leads the NFL, 11 punts inside the 20-yard line. Try to angle it again. Fair catch called by Woodson. 45-yard punt by Fiegels with just under 6 remaining. First half. Rundown of the ITT 10-minute ticker. Matt Barr has done it again. Second field goal. This from 48 for a 6-0 lead. Green Bay and Miami tied at 6. New England jumping in front of Houston. Washington 10-7 over Cincinnati. The Parcells upset special with Atlanta hanging in. And the Pittsburgh Steelers back to the offense from the 20-yard line. Barry Foster to the 24.
Pittsburgh back to what they started the game with, using Eric Green in the backfield as the lead blocker for Foster. That's the way they started the first series. Now they're back to that again.
And there is the offensive coordinator for the Steelers, Joe Walton. A very close personal friend of Eagles head coach Rich Kotite. They work together with the New York Jets. Things a little bit different from a year ago when the Pittsburgh Steelers struggled offensively, opening up at 1-3. Foster again, big hole, and a first down. Wes Hopkins tripped him up. Last season, Steelers did not score an offensive touchdown over the first 4 games, and then came on late and finished up at 9-7, although they were out of the playoffs.
Well, the offense is definitely in much better sync than it was last year at this time. There's Foster right up the middle, and that block tackle by the safety might have saved the touchdown because there wasn't anyone left after that tackle was made there.
Steelers first down from the 37, and Brister's pass behind Lips. Ben Smith covering. Lewis Lips, who last week against the Patriots came up with 7 receptions.
Joe Walton's doing a good job mixing up his play calls on first down. Run hard inside, then raise up with the quick pass. Everything designed to pick up the quick 5- and 6-yard situation so that Brister doesn't have to operate in a similar situation to what he did the last series. 2nd and 15, 2nd and 20, 3rd and long. It's Philadelphia's too much when it gets in that situation.
It's a 2nd and 10 from the 37. Huge tight end Eric Green now splits to the left side. Brister looking that way, and big rush. Last week the Eagles came up with 11 sacks without going with the blitz, but it looked like it was on right there.
Philadelphia decided to blitz this linebacker Jesse Small. He's coming off this side right here. They've seen they're not able to get quite enough pressure on Brister without blitzing, so they elected to send the linebackers. Again, John Jackson, the left tackle, I feel like has a misassignment because he let 2 guys go by him and didn't take either one of them.
Last week Jackson did a good job against Andre Tippett of New England. appears to be having some difficulties here in the first half. Third down play for Brister, and it's broken up. Lips could not hang on. Good play by the right corner, Eric Allen.
That ball was thrown right on the money by Brister. He was there with it. You know, you would expect Lips to make that play the majority of the time. Eric Allen closes quickly and kind of strips it loose right at the last second there. But that's a ball I think Lips would say he should have had.
Dan Straczynski will punt from his 21. Rod Harris is back. 4:21 remaining in this first half. And again, the good hang time. Harris with the big opening and hauled down. He was ready to go. A 43-yard punt and a 14-yard return. Rich Kotite, 48 years old, native of Brooklyn, one-time Pittsburgh Steeler tight end back in the late 60s. First year as an NFL head coach, promoted from offensive coordinator last January the 8th, the same day that Buddy Ryan was fired. Prior to last year with the Eagles, spent 7 seasons as receivers coach, offensive coordinator with the Jets, also an assistant at New Orleans and Cleveland. First down at the 34, and McMahon throwing. Oh, what a catch by Roy Green!
Well, you see Roy Green just running the deep pattern there. It hasn't taken McMahon very long to figure out that he's got a new weapon in the arsenal. I believe that's Green's 3rd catch of the day already. He only practiced twice last week. I'm telling you, this guy is dangerous. He always has been. And I'm sure he'll be able to run that pattern the day before he collects his Social Security.
He went for 41. It was his 3rd catch of the day, and it's a first down at the 25-yard line. Now Green in motion. And a red carry for Keith Byers. I can recall talking with Rich Kotite when we were in London to do the preseason game that matched the Eagles and the Bills, and he said Byers will run more this season. Well, that has not been the case to this point. And Byers, just a moment ago, carrying the ball for only the 2nd time today. Now, Kotite has made the transition from assistant coach to head coach. You did the same. How difficult is that?
Well, it's tough in your first year. There's just a lot of things that come your way you don't expect. You know, you decide what time the buses are going to go, what time all the meetings and the meals are. There's just things that an assistant coach doesn't deal with. And when you're a head coach, you have to make those decisions, and everybody's kind of waiting for you to do it. You know, all the mail and just everything. It's a lot more complex, but his main job is to coach the team, and if he can keep that in perspective and not let these other things distract him, he'll do very well.
Is it the mail that got to you, Bill? Was that what pushed you out of the
no, it never. In fact, I didn't even let it in my office. My secretary,
what a surprise,
would take care of that right out there in the main area. It never even got on my desk.
3rd down and 3 off that swing to Sherman. Bill, this is just fascinating, and I'd like to continue it, but the 2-minute warning has just been issued. We're back in a moment. 2 minutes remaining in the first half here at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. That is the timeout situation. The Pittsburgh Steelers getting off to the fast start, scoring on their first 2 drives, and they lead the Philadelphia Eagles by the score of 14-10. It's a 3rd and 3 for the Eagles down at the Pittsburgh 18-yard line. McMahon for Schuler, incomplete. Mickey Schuler has been a favorite target of Jim McMahon, and the field goal unit will check in. Roger Ruzak, who hit from 27 yards away earlier in the 2nd quarter.
Schuler is a guy that McMahon likes to go to, and Mickey was telling us the other day that he's been kind of tutoring Roy Green, and of course Keith Jackson a little in Rich Kotite's system. Schuler familiar with it with the Jets, you know.
This was a 34-yard attempt. The punter Jeff Feagles holding. And Ruzek is 2 for 2 on the day, and he cuts the Pittsburgh lead to 1 point with 1:52 left in this first half. Here's the reaction by Rich Kotite. Do you know that while at the University of Miami, Kotite took up boxing and actually sparred at the 5th Street gym while training for a tournament at the University of Miami? He did at one time spar with Muhammad Ali and Willie Pastrana. I asked Rich, was there ever a desire to go into professional boxing? He quickly said no.
I don't blame him. The longevity rate may be a little longer in coaching than in boxing, and it's not very long in coaching usually.
Now look at the ITT 10-minute ticker. Giants now with a 13-0 lead. Rodney Hampton on a 28-yard touchdown run. Green Bay and Miami tied at 6. New England maintaining the lead over Houston. Washington 17-10 over Cincinnati. Atlanta 7-0 in front of the Raiders. New Orleans leading Minnesota. Indianapolis over Detroit. The only other matchup of two teams with winning records aside from the Eagles and Pittsburgh is Minnesota and New Orleans. The kickoff by Ruzek. And on the hop by Woodson. And Woodson is off. Submarine as a penalty marker is down. The kicker, Roger Ruzek, made the stop. It is a 32-yard return, but a flag has been thrown. It's against the Steelers. Both the Steelers and Eagles heavily penalized this season. Last week against Dallas, 10 penalties assessed to Philadelphia, 28 on the season.
Holding number 55 on the run back on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty, first down.
That's Jerry Olszewski. The Eagles are leading the NFL in penalties. They were among the leaders last year, and Rich Kotite telling us that was one area he was trying to cut down, has not been able to, and Chuck Noll feels the same way about the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are right up there.
Those penalties will kill you. They can cost you games faster than anything.
Errol Hodge with a short pickup. Reggie White was right there. We're set for another update. Here's Bob.
All right, Marv, watch Rodney Hampton here take off on a 28-yard run for a touchdown. Hampton has 89 yards rushing already in the first half at the Meadowlands, and in a battle of former Bill Parcells assistants, it's the Giants of Ray Handley over the Browns of Bill Belichick, 13-0.
And back here in Philadelphia, Bubby Brister going incomplete with a pass intended for Chris Callaway. It will be a 3rd and 8 from the 22.
Brister trying to get off the hook on 2nd and long here. Can't find anybody downfield. Buys a little triumph, tries to get it to Green, but the linebacker, Small, comes over and strip screen from the ball.
Errol Hodge. And the Eagle defensive unit hearing it from the crowd as the Steelers will be forced to punt. Plenty of time remaining in the second quarter. 1:16 to go. And Dan Straczynski comes on to punt for the 3rd time. Rod Harris is dropping back. Coming up at halftime, we go back to the studio for the Domino's Pizza NFL Live Halftime Report, hosted by Bob Costas, along with OJ and Will. Very handsome picture of you, Bill, but you can only be in one place.
Notice how it kind of fills out the screen there?
Very much so. That touched up larger shoulders than I'm accustomed to seeing.
We had 2 pillows in there.
Yeah. Harris awaiting the punt at his 35-yard line. High snap handled by Straczynski. And another good one. He's bounced back today. Harris brought down by Olszewski. 46-yard punt. And an 8-yard return with 1:04 to go in this second quarter.
Philadelphia's got plenty of time here, and with the timeout situation in their favor. 2 remaining. All they need is a couple of first downs, and they'll be in field goal range. They just have 1 timeout remaining. They still have plenty of time to execute and get down inside the 30 and kick the field goal.
Barnett is to the left side. And Jackson now to the right. Jackson on the reception, but kept away from the marker by Brian Hinkle. Eagles try to go to the hurry up. Clock is running. Now Keith Jackson in the slot to the right. And McMahon goes the other side and has a first down, clicking with Barnett. Covered by Woodson. Eagles have that 1 timeout remaining. Trying to get within field goal range, down to 30 seconds remaining in the half. And for Green, who gets out of bounds on the reception to stop the clock. It's been a terrific first half for Roy Green, making his Eagle debut. That his 4th catch for 82 yards.
That's the pass that McMahon needed, too, because it not only got him the first down, but he got the clock stopped without using that timeout. Now he can take the shot. If he completes this next pass, they're in field goal range. He can use the timeout, kick the field goal, and still have plenty of time. They're probably going to review this here to see if Green had both feet in bounds.
George Sletke is the replay man.
25. Put 20 seconds up there. 20 seconds.
And they're also making certain that the time remaining is correct. 20 seconds to go. And they're also resetting the 30-second clock to 20.
This is the time in the game where the clock guys have the most difficulty.
Why is that?
The game's moving along at a faster pace than what they're used to. They can't keep track of all the completions, incompletions, when the referee sets it. It's a little more difficult situation for the guys that are manning the clocks when the 2-minute offense is going.
Apparently, that last sideline play by Green does stand. And McMahon throws deep, looking for Barnett. And it's picked off on the deflection by Larry Griffin. Larry Griffin in his 6th year out of North Carolina, usually used as the dime back in the Pittsburgh scheme. Able to come up with it off the tip.
Well, you see Woodson, perfect coverage there on Barnett, knocks the ball up in the air. Griffin back there providing some deep help, and probably should have stayed in the end zone there with that thing and not risk the fumble, but elected to take it out. Jim was going for the touchdown there once he'd gotten his team into field goal range. And
good play by Woodson. Looked like he directed it to Griffin. Little volleyball effect.
Let's go in. Let's get
as time has run out in the 2nd quarter. Pittsburgh Steelers with a 14-13 lead on the Philadelphia Eagles. So Jim McMahon and his Eagles depart. Bubby Brister and his Steelers leaving the field. Now to NFL Live. Here's Bob Costas.
Back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia, the Pittsburgh Steelers leading the Philadelphia Eagles 14-13 at halftime. Marv Albert with Bill Parcells. We welcome you back. Pittsburgh Steelers doing exactly what they set out to do. They score on the first 2 series against the NFL's #1 defensive team.
well, the Steelers wanted to come out, run straight at Philadelphia. That's what they did. Had some success. Then were able to slow the rush down, hit the big pass to Eric Green, and they're on the board twice, and that's the way they wanted to go. Last 2 series didn't go quite the same way for them, however.
Eagles did settle down in the second half. Eric Green with 6 catches in the first half really hurt the Eagles, but the big surprise, the veteran 34-year-old Roy Green, a man you mentioned earlier that you feared about as much as Tony Dorsett, and he has made an extraordinary debut for the Eagles.
Believe me, he's no surprise to me. He's a guy that's giving me ulcers. Here you see him working against Woodson. They're faking a screen pass, and Green gets back against the grain, makes the reception. There's no one on him. He's one-on-one there with Everett. Everett's able to get him down. But Green is no surprise at all. He's a deep threat. As you see him here, working against David Johnson on an inside go here. The ball's laid up. It's a little bit short, but Green gets his body in between the defender and comes up with the reception. Off to a great start.
Roy Green in his 13th year out of Henderson State. As you take a look at the halftime statistics, and the Philadelphia Eagles have had the ball for 12 minutes and 43 seconds. The Pittsburgh Steelers 17 minutes. 51 yards on the ground to 24. And the total yards 201 to 197. Philadelphia 10 rushes for 24 yards. There's Gary Anderson getting set to kick it off.
This is a new ball game here in the second half. The sides were really very even the first half. There's nothing to choose. It's whoever plays the best from here on is going to win this one.
By Rod Harris on the return, moving across the 20-yard line. And the Philadelphia Eagles will go back to the offense. Offensive line of Keller and Davis at the tackles, Cully and McKnight at the guards, Alexander at center. See the stat line on Jim McMahon. Fred Barnett and Roy Green opening up at the wide receiver positions. In this third quarter, they go double tight end with Keith Jackson and Mickey Schuler. The lone deep back is Heath Sherman. And here's Sherman. He broke a tackle and then was hauled down at the 29 by the outside linebacker, Greg Lloyd. Heath Sherman, who came in late, missed the first two preseason games after holding out, and has had difficulty getting off. Last week in Dallas, carried 6 times for minus yardage. When he finds his rhythm, he runs very low. The Eagles say maybe one of the lower runners in the NFL.
He's a guy that looks like he's a little closer to game shape right now than he has been all season. He looks like he's ready to help the Eagles right now.
Second down and 3, and it's Sherman short of the first down. Brian Hinkle on the stop. Pittsburgh Steelers, Philadelphia Eagles coming in with records of 2-1. Pittsburgh beating San Diego and New England, lost to Buffalo. They were clobbered by the score 52-34. While the Eagles last Sunday beat Dallas 24-0. That a bounce back from the loss to Phoenix here in Philadelphia. They've beaten Green Bay and Dallas and lost to Phoenix. It's a 3rd down and 1. From the 31, James Joseph now in the backfield along with Robert Drummond and Heath Sherman. And it's Sherman for the first down. Slashing his way through, stopped by Hardy Nickerson.
The short yardage offense is an offense unto itself. You practice it separately all week, and Here you see number 32 coming across right here, going to block that outside linebacker, and the back is going to lead through, and Sherman's going to be able to avoid that penetration and pick up the first down nicely.
Now Green is split out to the left side at the top of your screen. McMahon's pass is caught by Green for a first down. A 15-yard advance. Woodson on the stop. And Roy Green with his 5th catch of the day.
Well, I guess you believe me about this guy by now, huh, Marv? This is a guy that you just cannot relax against. He's down the field. The coverage is too soft on him. This is a guy you have to challenge. You have to be up knocking him around. If you let him run where he wants to, he'll kill you.
You said a moment ago that he's not a surprise today. How could you say that with a guy who practiced a couple of days? You wouldn't expect him to come in and make 5 catches, would you?
This guy, what I've seen from this guy, I expect anything. And it's never good if you're on the other side.
Byers, the ball carrier, stopped by Olszewski. Keith Byers bothered by back spasms last week, but he told us that he's all right. So he has now carried it 3 times. Last year, he led all NFL running backs with 81 receptions, carried the ball only 37 times. He has more receptions the last 3 years than any other running back in the league.
It doesn't matter how you get him the ball, as long as he gets it, and he's been getting it an ample amount of time here with Philadelphia the past several years, and he's a threat when he gets it.
On the draw, Byers, good recovery. Looked like they had him. Was able to break the tackle and was brought down by the nose. Gerald Williams is short of the first down. It's a 3rd down play coming up, and Byers comes up limping. Number 95, Greg Lloyd, is down.
That would be a big loss for Pittsburgh. They only have 3 outside linebackers on their roster, Williams, Hinkle, and Lloyd, and they may be down to 2. Of course, they could go to a 4-man front if they wanted to. They have enough defensive linemen to do that.
Timeout is taken. We'll be back in a moment.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Subaru. It's what to drive. By Miller Genuine Draft. Cold filtered for real draft taste. So get out of the old, get into the cold. By ITT Corporation. Building people's dreams. And by Hertz. We never forget who made us #1. We're Hertz. We're America's wheels.
The Eagles with a 3rd and 1 at the Steeler 41-yard line. Pittsburgh with a 14-13 lead. We're early in the 3rd quarter. Sherman for the first down and some more. So the Eagles now running well after picking up only 24 yards on the ground in the first half.
Here you see that formation where they use these 3 tight ends together. This time they're using it just as a decoy and sending Sherman up the middle on the short yardage situation. But that's a formation that the Eagles have run from time to time this year with effectiveness.
It was a Giant characteristic, the heavy tight end alignment from you. Rich Kotite telling us he borrowed some of that from your playbook. The completion to that man again, Roy Green. It's another Eagle first down. His 6th catch for 112 yards. And Woodson is hurt.
There's Green again. As I said, you need to have someone up on him a little bit more. He's just run a little turn in there. Here comes Woodson up, number 26, and looks like he collided with Brian Hinkle, his own linebacker, and they clashed helmets together, and sometimes that can knock it right down on your nose and unfortunately sometimes break your nose. I don't know that that's what happened.
All right, Woodson shaken up. Let's check the Hertz 10-minute ticker. Your former club, the Giants, leading Bill Belichick, your former assistant, and the Cleveland Browns by the score of 13-0. Green Bay in front of Miami.
A little bit of a surprise there.
How about New England over Houston?
Major surprise there right now.
Washington opening a 24-10 lead on the Bengals, who are facing the prospect of going 0-4. They have a tough schedule next couple of weeks. Raiders in Atlanta now tied it at 7. In the 3rd, New Orleans in front of Minnesota. Recent years, Minnesota has clobbered the Saints. Saints at 3-0 coming in, and Indianapolis with a 10-7 lead on Detroit. Tonight, the real-life deep-sea adventures of Mark and Brian when they come face-to-face with the jaws of death in a death-defying dive, Bill, into a shark tank. And one of the weirder new shows of the season, it says right here, Erie, Indiana, followed by a couple of Outstanding stars in new shows. James Garner, A Man of the People, and Robert Guillaume stars in Pacific Station. And Martin Sheen is a man fighting for his son's life for the NBC world premiere movie, Guilty Until Proven Innocent. That's tonight on NBC. They continue to check over Rod Woodson. 9:48 remaining in the third quarter. When we resume, Eagles have a 1st and 10 from the Pittsburgh 21. Heath Sherman, the ball carrier, on the first down play. Stopped by Greg Lloyd. Rod Woodson was helped off the field. When we get a report, we will pass it on. He's been replaced by Richard Shelton, a second-year player from Liberty.
Well, that's a WLAF player also. Richard Shelton, the back, played with the Montreal Machine.
Bill, you know those WLAF nicknames. Richard Shelton played 2 games with the Steelers last year, then was waived, and did play in the World League with Montreal. 10th play of the drive, 2nd down and 6. And McMahon looks it over, dumps it to Byers. Battling toward the first down marker. Jerry Olszewski tried to keep him away along with Richard Shelton. And it is a first down for the Eagles.
Byers in his normal fullback alignment here. Starts to release outside the tight end, then breaks it back over the middle against the Pittsburgh zone. McMahon gets it to him. Byers is like McMahon's security blanket. Now Roy Green has become his surprise element. So if it's tough, Byers gets it. And if he's trying to get the big play, goes to Green.
And it's a first down at the 10. Sherman try to pick his way, met by Shelton. Rich Kotite was telling us that he studied tapes and implemented your heavy tight end alignment into the Eagles system, and we're getting a look at it right here.
Well, here it is. Here are the 3 tight ends right together, and this time McMahon's going to hand it to Sherman and just run in behind all those blockers, and you see, it's almost like the single wing, the old days. Woody Hayes would have loved that play.
You mean you guys actually steal from each other?
Oh, yeah. Research is the word.
Research. Yeah. 2nd and 8 from the 8. Goes Barnett in motion. And McMahon has Barnett, puts a move on. David Johnson upending Fred Barnett, who came up with his 4th reception of the day.
The Eagles like to put 3 receivers out to one side and have the quarterback just read that side. And Barnett was his 3rd choice there because he was the shortest receiver. He obviously is looking down the field, but he gets it to Barnett. Good, solid completion. Barnett takes it down to the 2.
It's a 3rd down and 1 at the 2. Sherman and Drummond, the running backs. Here's Drummond. And he fumbled. Steelers say they have it. Brian Hinkle was battling for the ball. Here's another look at it.
You see Drummond try to turn it in there. We're shielded. We can't tell from that angle.
The officials are ruling that it is Philadelphia ball. Let's see.
See Drummond turn up, make himself little, trying to go in, but the ball does get out of there. It looks like that should be a fumble to me. Now the question is, did he make a first down?
Well, Rich Kotite has set on the field goal unit.
There's Aaron Pointer. That's the brother of the famous Pointer sisters, number 79. Here you see Drummond again, avoids the linebacker, turns it up inside. Ball comes loose pretty early. You see him grasping to hold on to it.
The forward progress stopped on the field. The play is being reviewed.
That's what the officials always rule, that the forward progress had been stopped. The reason the forward progress appeared to be stopped is because Drummond was reaching back to try to recover the ball.
But if that interpretation holds up, it will be Eagle ball. This has been a 9-minute drive by the Philadelphia Eagles.
Review, the play stands is called. 4th down.
This a drive that has consumed 8 minutes and 59 seconds. And the Eagles will go for it. Ruzek and Fiegels depart.
Last time in this situation, it was the quarterback sneak.
And a timeout has been called by Philadelphia. We've been told that Rod Woodson suffered a neck sprain, and it has not yet been determined as to whether he will be able to return. Will return right after this. It is a 4th down and inches. The Eagles score. Robert Drummond over the right side. Critical call leading to the Eagles maintaining possession. The call that the forward progress a moment ago was stopped before the fumble, and it led to this. Eagles going for it. Drummond scoring. Kotite celebrating. Eagles take the lead, and here is the extra point attempt by Ruzek. 5:46 remaining in the 3rd, so the Eagles have come from behind and now lead it by 6. The Eagles going 14 plays, 78 yards, 9 minutes, 14 seconds. Robert Drummond took it over, and it's a 20-14 Philadelphia lead with 5:46 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Ernie Mills on the kickoff return for the injured Rod Woodson. Good kick, and Mills runs it out. Mills getting the opening. Nice return. Tripped up by John Booty. A penalty flag is down. So Ernie Mills, a 3rd-round draft pick, rookie from the University of Florida, with the return. But let's see what the penalty involves. It's against Pittsburgh. Holding call.
Number 94 on the run back, on the return team, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
That is Jeff Brady, a rookie from Kentucky, a 12th-round draft pick, and it has been a surprise. Played well. We're told Rod Woodson, who was lifted with the neck sprain, will not return. A major loss suffered by the Steelers, who start out from their 13-yard line. Little mix-up on the handoff, and a flag down. Jerome Brown shaken up.
This is the situation that Philadelphia loves to get you in. They got the crowd behind them. They got the lead. Their defense plays very well from in front. There's Jerome Brown. Now, I can tell you,
holding number 74 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
Terry Long called for the penalty.
Jerome, we're told, here you see a little mix-up. It looks like the tailback went the wrong way, too. You see Long on the back of Jerome's leg there. Might have rolled up on his ankle. But Jerome reported in very good shape this year. The best he's been in his career here with the Eagles.
He's been replaced by Mike Golick. Merrill Hodge out across the 10. William Thomas making the stop. And Rod Woodson is headed back to the Steeler locker room.
Well, you not only lose the cornerback, but you lose one of the premier returners in the National Football League. So it's not only affects your defense, it affects your special teams. and he's also one of the Pittsburgh key team leaders. So that's a very, very big loss.
Second down 10 from the 13-yard line. And Brister looking for Lips. Lewis Lips has not come up with a reception to this point. Eric Allen on the coverage.
Philadelphia elected to go with the all-out blitz situation, something they didn't do at all last week. You know, they bring the linebackers as well as the linemen there, and they're really trying to put the pressure on Pittsburgh now deep in their own territory. And that's been a long-time Philadelphia scheme, that once they get you pinned back and the crowd's vocal and the quarterback's under that center, they might bring a lot of pressure on you.
Bobby Brister got off to the good start, but he's 1 for 7 from the second quarter on. 0 for his last 5. Brister couldn't find anyone, ran into his own man, and down he goes. Clyde Simmons receiving credit for his second sack.
There you see Simmons right here on the right side. Brister, of course, can't find anybody down the field. He has to hold the ball. You really have to credit the Philadelphia secondary. Simmons flushes him out. White corners him. Brister doubles back. Simmons comes back and gets it.
All right. Bad snap headed by Straczynski, punting out of his end zone. Rod Harris. 43-yard punt and a 4-yard return. And the Eagles will go back to the offense. Check of the Hertz 10-minute ticker. Giants with a 13-3 lead. Green Bay 13-6 over Miami. New England in front of Houston, extending their lead. Same for the Redskins over Cincinnati. Raiders have overtaken Atlanta. New Orleans 13-zip on Minnesota, and Detroit has come from behind. They now lead Indianapolis. Excellent field position for the Philadelphia Eagles from the Pittsburgh Steelers 43-yard line. They lead 20-14. Myers with a 3-yard advance, stopped by David Little. A win today by Philadelphia would push them to 3-1. That would be their best start in 10 years. They opened up 6-0 back in 1981. A Pittsburgh victory to go 3-1 would be their best start since back in '82. That was a strike year for Chuck Noll and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Chuck in his 23rd season as head coach of the Steelers. One of only 5 coaches in NFL history to win 200 games. Second down and 7. And the sideline catch by Barnett, short of the first down. Took the hit from the left corner, David Johnson, who was a question mark because of an ankle problem. Barnett with 5 catches, 33 yards. A surprise Roy Green, 6 catches for 112 yards in his Philadelphia Eagle debut. It's a 3rd and 3 at the 36 with 2:45 to go in the third.
Well, the last time I saw Roy Green was down at the Super Bowl in Tampa. He rode on our bus to our last practice prior to the Buffalo game. O.J. Anderson made me bring him along for moral support, and of course he helped us out a little bit.
One-time teammates, O.J. Anderson and Roy Green with the Cardinals. So the penalty flags. Steelers say they were pulled off.
False start on the offense to center.
And they were. That's David Alexander. Call for the false start.
Well, Jim McMahon uses a lot of voice inflection, and sometimes you get your own guys with that instead of the other guys. So the Pittsburgh jumped a little bit, but apparently Alexander had a little trouble. But in talking to Alexander yesterday, he said that he really likes playing with Jim McMahon at the quarterback, and that was nothing against Randall Cunningham's ability, but he knows where McMahon's going to be, and the ball's going out of there a lot quicker. It's a little bit easier for the offensive line to play with McMahon in there.
It's a 3rd and 8 from the 41. And McMahon has Byers for the first down. And he continues to go. Broke tackles. Terrific second effort by Keith Byers. The Steelers thought they had him, but they did not.
Well, Byers there is almost like a hot receiver. Pittsburgh brought 2 blitzers from the weak side. Byers was located on the strong side. He crossed over to that vacant area on the weak side. McMahon led him, and of course he's down on the 4-yard line now.
He broke the tackle attempted by Richard Shelton and then was bumped out by David Johnson.
250-pound back. That's what the problem is.
First and goal from the 4. Drummond and Sherman in the backfield. Here's Sherman trying to cut inside. Greg Lloyd able to trip him up along with Hardy Nickerson. And it is a loss on the play. Recapping the scoring, Pittsburgh got right to it on the first series. And it was a shovel pass from Brister to Hodge for 12 yards, 7-0 lead. McMahon took it over from the 1 to tie the game at 7. Eric Green, a major weapon in the first half, caught an 8-yard touchdown pass for a 14-7 Pittsburgh lead after 1 in the second. Couple of field goals by Ruzek. In the third, Drummond on a 1-yard plunge for a 20-14 lead, and the Eagles threatening once again. Back to the ground, Drummond going wide, and he goes down inside the 5, submarined by the left corner, David Johnson.
Philadelphia trying that right side quite a bit behind the rookie Anton Davis. Drummond has to dip a little deep here. Was forced back into the backfield, and you see the Pittsburgh pursuit over there, and really a negligible game.
It's a 3rd and goal at the 3. Time running down. 10 seconds left in the 3rd. And they'll let it run out. After 3, Eagles lead 20-14. We'll be back after these words from your local station.
Here you see Keith Byers, and this is the big play in the drive right here. He's located on the right side. Pittsburgh blitzes these 2 guys right here. Byers gets across, beats the coverage underneath, and you see he takes it all the way down to the 4-yard line. It's just a foot race now. McMahon leads them, gets past the next defensive back, missed a couple tackles, all the way down to the 4.
And as we open up the 4th quarter here in Philadelphia, it's a 3rd and goal at the 3 for the Eagles. They lead the Steelers 20-14. Good play fake, and McMahon has the open man. Sherman for the touchdown. No, not able to hold on. Incomplete.
That was one of those too easies. It was too easy. It was so wide open. Jim just tried to lay it up there, and the ball was in the air too long. And the Pittsburgh defense were able to come over and make a pretty good collision.
Good hit by Carnell Lake from his strong safety position. And with the 4th and goal from the 3, the field goal unit checks in. This is a 20-yard attempt by Ruzek, who is 2 for 2 on the day from 27 and 34. And he pops it through to extend the Eagle lead to 23-14.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Call Domino's Pizza right now, and you'll be enjoying a hot, delicious pizza when the game is over.
Marv Albert with Bill Parcells back at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. Capacity crowd better than 65,000 on hand, and the Eagles have come from behind now, lead at 23-14. Just seconds into the 4th quarter as Roger Ruzek gets set to kick it off to that man, number 89, Ernie Mills, who has replaced the injured Rod Woodson in the kick return game. Mills, a 3rd-round draft pick, a rookie from the University of Florida with excellent speed. Mills running it out. He's is across the 25-yard line. Let's go back to that little toss by McMahon on a third down play off the play fake.
Here you see McMahon on the play action pass, lobs it up softly to Keith Sherman, and there's a collision there. Cornell Lake comes over and hits him in the back. I don't think Sherman had possession long enough to call it a touchdown. Here's the situation now. Bubby Brister's got to hit a play here to get this crowd out of the game and quiet them down. This is the situation that the Steelers didn't want to be in, and they're in it now. You'll see the pass rush.
Crowd urging the defensive unit on, and Brister's pass is broken up. Eric Allen on the coverage of Dwight Stone. There's Allen, made the Pro Bowl 2 years ago after picking off interceptions. Last year, quarterbacks did not throw his way. Had only 3 interceptions, but was a Pro Bowl alternate. Really can't go by interception numbers. So many people do, but in Allen's case, they weren't throwing his way after that outstanding rookie season.
No, that's true, but the defensive backs now have a little advantage because they know they're going to get a good pass rush with a lead. So they might play just a little more aggressively than they would to start the game.
It is a 2nd and 10 from the 26. Off the pitch, Hodge, and a penalty marker is down. Run out by Mike Pitts. And the hold against the Steelers.
Holding, number 88 on the offense, penalty refused.
Chris Callaway called for the hold.
They have Callaway on the crack back there, and he just grabs Seth Joyner and tackles him, and they're trying to run a sweep, but there's no doubt that was holding. That was more like wrestling.
Steelers in a hole now with a 3rd down and 13. Look at the total yards for Pittsburgh, only 5 in the second half. Bubby Brister 1 for his last 8. He has got incomplete in his last 6 attempts. And a very short pickup. Hodge stopped by Joyner, and the Eagle defense has come up strong in the second half. Some extracurricular activity. 77, the right guard Carlton Hasselrig on the subject of wrestling. Carlton, the NCAA 6-time wrestling champion, Bill.
Yeah, well, he's had a lot of practice at it, but that time Pittsburgh, to control Reggie White, held the tight end in to help the tackle. And of course that frustrates Reggie a little bit, but it also puts 2 blockers on him, and that's why Brister was able to get outside and contain and dump the ball to Hodge there. But that's what you have to do with Reggie White in a long yardage situation. You got to get a couple of guys assigned to him, or he just creates havoc for you.
It's been 3 downs and a punt each of the last 3 possessions for Pittsburgh. Straczynski has come on for the 5th time. Harris is back deep. And Harris with the fair catch. 37-yard punt. We'll be back after these messages.
Coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around. By First Brands Corporation, makers of Prestone Advanced Formula Antifreeze. By Coors Light, the silver bullet is the right beer now. And by Right Guard Sports Stick, anything less would be uncivilized.
2 minutes have gone by in the 4th quarter. Reggie White being checked, suffered a bruised knee, we're told, moments ago, and he will return. The Minister of Defense sitting it out, at least for the moment. Well, with the Giants, you could have selected Reggie, I'm told, in the USFL supplemental draft. Was that your decision?
That's true. That shows you how smart I am. We had the opportunity to select Reggie. We selected Gary Zimmerman instead in the USFL supplementary draft. We wound up having to trade Zimmerman. Now, could you imagine if you had Reggie White and Lawrence Taylor? Defense would have been illegal, Marv.
Yeah, but Zimmerman, not a bad pick, just didn't want to play in the New York area. Heath Sherman across the 35. Yeah, Reggie told us
on Friday that he would have added 2 more Super Bowl rings to your arsenal.
Well, he may well have, because that would have been a pretty formidable pass rush with both Lawrence Taylor and Reggie White.
I like the description from Tunch Ilkin, who's gone up against Reggie throughout the day. Ilkin says, I think he's the best that he's ever played against. He calls him a genetic mutation. 6'6", 290. Look at those stats. Reggie White, 99 sacks since 85. The sack stat went into creation back in 82. It's a second down and 8 from the 36-yard line. And McMahon able to complete right at the marker to Barnett, who is covered by Johnson, and they spot it at the 45. That's a first down.
You see Philadelphia will become a lot more deliberate now and not press as much on offense as they were in the second and third quarter. They've got the lead. They'll be more patient. Jim will make the safe throws. They'll run the ball some. They'll try to get the clock moving here and wind it down here in the fourth quarter.
It has been a solid day for Jim McMahon, who has taken over for the injured Randall Cunningham, who is up here in the broadcast booth whispering advice to you, Bill.
Yep, Randall's giving me some advice on the telecast there.
Keith Byers, and he is gang tackled. Gerald Williams leading the charge. Let's go to Bob Costas for this update.
Marv, Bill's upset selection hangs in gamely. Here are the Falcons. Chris Miller off the play fake finds Steve Broussard, 25-yard touchdown, and it brings them even again at 14 late in the third quarter at home against the Raiders. Marv?
Hanging in gamely.
That's my upset. The Falcons, a more ominous bird.
A more ominous bird. Did he spend days working on these alleged clever lines?
I heard someone say ominous one time, so I asked him what it meant.
It is a 2nd and 8 for the 47. Look out, McMahon able to get off the screen. Penalty flag down as Byers made the catch. And another flag has been thrown. Looked to be a late hit.
What you're probably going to have here is offsetting penalties, because I think there may have been holding on Philadelphia in the offensive line, and then, of course, Pittsburgh piling on Byers in the out-of-bounds situation, so that may be an offsetting penalty.
Illegal use of hands, number 69 on the offense. Late hit out of bounds on the defense. Penalties offset. Replay the dome.
Bruce Colley, number 69, called for the Eagle penalty. Big Joe Green checking it out.
Well, here you see Bruce Colley, and he's kind of got Gerald Williams around the neck, and that's the one penalty. And then, of course, you see Byers coming over. Carnell Lake knocks him out of bounds, and then Hardy Nickerson just piles right on top of him. Now, there's no reason to do that. Guy's 4 or 5 yards out of bounds.
2nd down 8 from the 47. Eagles 23, Steelers 14, with 10 minutes and 15 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Sherman able to take advantage of a big hole, runs for 12, and a first down. The free safety, Thomas Everett, made the stop.
Philadelphia using a real good mixture here. This is a draw play. They use Byers to run, now Sherman to run. Good block inside by Alexander. Sherman looks like he's ready to play now. He was a little late to camp, but you wouldn't know it now.
Yes, he's had a good day, 53 yards on the ground. Rich Kotite telling us that he is still getting his timing down, but as this game has progressed, Sherman has looked better and better. First down at the Pittsburgh 42, and it's Sherman on the cut, picking up a couple. Carnell Lake on the tackle. Look at the Fram 10-minute ticker, and the Browns hanging in. Kozar, a 7-yard touchdown pass to Mack. Green Bay and Miami now tied at 13. New England maintaining the lead on Houston. Cincinnati has come back, and as Bob mentioned, Raiders and Atlanta tied at 14. Saints over Minnesota, and Detroit opening up on Indianapolis. And I would think the countdown continues on Ron Meyer.
Well, Also, Detroit off to a 3-1 start. You know, everybody had them buried at the end of preseason, and after the first week, that 40 some odd points to Washington lost. Now they've won 3 in a row.
Fires. And he was tripped up by Richard Shelton. While we have a moment here, we'd like to pass on our best wishes to Philadelphia Eagles owner Norman Brayman, who had successful surgery the other day at Pennsylvania Hospital for a chronic neck condition. We're told that he has returned home, and we wish a speedy recovery to Norman Brayman.
Sure, he's very happy with what he sees on the scoreboard today. His team's played very well, and I'm sure he's anxious to get back here, and we do wish him well.
Just under 8 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. 3rd down and 6. High snap. Sherman. And he is stopped at the 36-yard line by the combination of Everett and Shelton. And Jeff Fiegels will check in. He'll punt for only the second time today. He has had an outstanding season. A second year with Philadelphia after 2 with New England.
This might be a situation where Philly elects to take the penalty to give Fiegels a little more room to try to punt the ball down. I'm not sure they'll do it, but this would be a situation where they might.
Jeff Graham.
Fiegels doesn't look too anxious to punt the ball here yet.
Jeff Graham is back at the 10. Graham, the rookie from Ohio State, a second-round draft pick. And let's see, they are letting the clock run down. And that's it. They take the delay of game.
Of course, Pittsburgh can refuse this now if they want to.
Well, Pittsburgh accepts, and Fiegels, now with some more room to operate, is back at the 45. So he's able to angle it out. Another good punt by Fiegels. Well, a look at the prime time lineup tonight. Starting at 7 Eastern time with the adventures of Mark and Brian. And that'll be followed by Erie, Indiana. Then James Garner, a man of the people, and Robert Guillaume starring in Pacific Station. The night concluded with Martin Sheen as a man fighting for his son's life in the NBC world premiere movie Guilty Until Proven Innocent. That's all tonight right here on NBC. Crowd again urging the Eagle defensive unit on as Pittsburgh starts out from the 14. They have been silent in the second half. Foster. He was stopped by William Thomas. He is just short of a first down.
Pittsburgh's very close to getting in a situation here where the clock is a major factor. They've got to score twice. It doesn't make any difference whether they get the field goal or the touchdown first, but they need to get the ball down the field in a hurry and get at least one of those on the board, and then hope their defense can stop Philadelphia, get the ball back, give them a chance or the opportunity to go ahead or put that second score up. But they need to do it fairly quickly. If it takes too long to get this first score, then Philadelphia will take too much time off the clock and force Pittsburgh to use all their timeouts, and they won't have a chance for that second one.
And Pittsburgh did pick up the first down by virtue of that spot. First down at the 24. 83 Lips in motion. And Foster. Stopped by the strong safety, Andre Waters.
Well, Andre Waters snuck up from his safety position there. Came up real late. Here you see him circle right there. He's going to follow the cutback of the runner and make the play on Foster. Lips is assigned to him, misses the block. But Waters is a real tough, strong safety. He gets up in there, mixes it up with those linemen and linebackers, He's not afraid to do that.
Yes, opponents usually know where he is. He is one of the league's hardest hitters.
Well, he doesn't have any hair either, Marv. He's knocked all his hair off.
Yeah. 2nd down and 6. Brister off the roll in trouble. And down he goes. William Thomas will get credit. Jerome Brown in the initial pursuit. And it pressured Brister, so Thomas with the sack.
Well, this Philadelphia pass rush is really benefiting, too, from the coverage in the secondary. Here you see Thomas stationed on top of the screen right there. He's the rookie linebacker, number 51. Now Jerome's on the rush, breaks clean real early, flushes Brister. He managed to elude him, but he can't get away from Thomas.
3rd sack of the day for the Eagles. They lead the NFL in that department, 19 for the season. Simmons with 2, Thomas with 1. 3rd down and 19. And again, Brister in trouble. And he just fires one downfield in a crowd. Intended for Dwight Stone. Ernie Mills also down the field. This Philadelphia crowd reacting to the Eagles' defensive effort.
Well, that was the series the Eagle defense had to play well to keep Pittsburgh from getting back in it. Now it's just a time thing. The offense is going to run the ball. They're going to force Pittsburgh to use all their timeouts, and I don't think Pittsburgh's going to have enough time to get back in this one. That was the series Philadelphia needed, and they got it, and they got it real strongly.
Straczynski will punt from the goal line. And it is a short kick. Steelers get the bounce, however. 4:14 remaining in the 3rd quarter. That will go down as a 47-yard punt. The offensive coordinator, Joe Walton, had his club going early, but it has not been the case here in the 2nd half. Pittsburgh Steelers got off to the good start, but since the 1st quarter, Bubby Brister only 2 for 10 for 20 yards. They've accounted for only 2 first downs after the 1st quarter. They have been shut down.
Well, it's that long yardage situation, Marv. The Eagles are almost impossible 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10. You may hit a play or two, but in the long run, 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, they're going to win. And they're also going to create some big plays doing it.
Heath Sherman getting the call. Stopped by Hardy Nickerson as we come up on 4 minutes remaining in this 4th quarter. The Eagles with a 23-14 lead on the Steelers. Philadelphia looking to go 3-1. Next week they have a Monday night game at Washington, then at Tampa Bay, and home for New Orleans, San Francisco, and the Giants, while the Steelers' next game will be at Indianapolis, then home for the Giants and Seattle, back to the road for 3 straight. They have a difficult finish. Chuck Noll and his club, 6 of the last 7 games against Cincinnati, Houston, Washington, and Dallas. A look at our schedule next Sunday.
Miami at the Jets.
NFL Live at 3:30.
New England at Phoenix. Kansas City, San Diego. Now there's a team. Kansas City's had a lot of trouble with San Diego. And of course Indianapolis looking for their, or maybe looking for their first win against Seattle.
Who do you feel right now is the best team in the NFL?
Well, going into this week, I kind of thought it was Houston, but you see New England, who everybody feels like is not one of the higher echelon teams, and they got it. You never know what's going to happen.
2nd and 9 at the 40. Here's Byers. Penalty marker is down. Well, right now, who do you feel is the best team in the National Football League?
Right now, I feel like the Washington Redskins are the best team in the National Football League. And I think New Orleans may be a close second.
Where do you put Buffalo?
I put Buffalo offensively by themselves in the highest category, but defensively, I don't have enough people right now to be considered a threat defensively.
Crackback block, number 86 on the offense. 15-yard penalty, repeat the down.
Fred Barnett called for the crackback block. So, overall, you put Buffalo behind both Washington and New Orleans rated that high at this point.
Well, I just feel like Buffalo's more of a one-dimensional team at this juncture. When Bruce Smith comes back and Jeff Wright comes back, then they may be a little bit different. But right now, Buffalo is giving up too many points. Now, I will concede that they have the ability to score an awful lot. But one of these days, someone's going to come in there and shut that offense down a little bit. And
you're not crazy about their secondary, right?
No, I'm not crazy about their whole defense the way it sits right now. They don't have enough people.
3rd down and 9 at the 40. Just under 4 minutes remaining in the 4th. Sherman running well. And as you mentioned earlier, he looks to be back. Heath Sherman got off to the slow start after holding out, as did a host of Philadelphia players, in particular on the defensive end, and Sherman has run well. He now has carried 19 times for 66 yards.
Also, this is an opportunity for Rich Kotite to get Sherman back into game shape. Give him a few of those extra carries. Everybody knows they're going to run the ball. Pittsburgh knows it. The Eagles know it. It's one of those deals where you kind of get the feeling of being back in football. It's a good chance for the coach to give him a little extra work. It's almost like practice, only it counts.
1st down at midfield. And this time, Sherman is stacked up. Greg Lloyd making the stop. I'd like to thank our producer, John Faratzis, director, Andy Rosenberg, our statistician, Mr. Stats, Elliot Kalb. Will be back in a moment. And a check of the Fram 10-minute ticker. Giants clinging to that 3-point lead. Miami in front of Green Bay. Don Shula gunning again for win number 300. Washington by 3 over Cincinnati. And the Parcells upset special with Atlanta in front. New Orleans now 23-0, and Detroit maintaining its lead on Indianapolis. 2nd down and 10 from midfield. McMahon going incomplete, intended for Fred Barnett. I was saying thank you. Excellent job on the booth done by our spotters, Bill Friel and Mike McKay. Steelers and Eagles each have 2 timeouts remaining. The Eagles with a 23-14 lead on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, Jim McMahon, I think, has played this game just about the way he wanted to. He was playing from behind. He's played error-free. I think, you sense in talking to McMahon, you get the feeling, he would just like to get in a position where he had a chance to play for another championship. And I think he thinks, along as I think, that this team does have a chance to do that.
Sherman getting the call again. As we touched on earlier, the question regarding McMahon, who has been set back over the years by a series of injuries, is can he stay healthy?
Well, I think that he has to. What they've done here in their design, Rich Kotite, to his credit, they're doing things that allow McMahon to function very quickly. He's got a lot of weapons, Byers, he's got Jackson, Barnett. Now, all of a sudden, Roy Green comes off the streets and puts in this kind of performance for him. Jim can spread the ball around, and a veteran guy like that, they get rejuvenated. They see the opportunity to succeed, that one more chance. I know in my experience, the guys that I had, the Phil Simses and the Lawrence Taylors, the closer we got to that second championship, you could sense the more that they really wanted to try to get it. It means more to you when you're older. That the clock is ticking. The time's running out. This may well be his last chance. So it means so much more to you. That's why this guy doesn't want to give up the game.
Roy Green, one of those, as you would put it, hold the fort type players.
Hold the fort. Yep, you have to be able to bring those vets in, and Rich Kotite has done it. He brought Roy Green, Mickey Schuler, guys like that. They bring a lot of leadership experience to your team. They keep the young players in line.
Jeff Graham with a poor judgment as he took it and moved into the end zone, and now the question is the momentum. They're going to place it just outside the goal line. Not a wise play by the rookie from Ohio State.
Well, I think everyone knows about the 10-yard rule. Sometimes you reduce it to 7 or 8 yards in AstroTurf, but there's no way that ball should be fielded. He should just let it go. The thing's in the end zone on the fly. I think he got back. It's his momentum that took him back over the goal line. That's where the referee spotted the ball.
Crowd is reacting, booing. They were looking for a safety. But they are saying that the ball will be spotted just outside the goal line.
That's being reviewed now. And this is one of those forward progress things now.
Operator, put 12 seconds. 12.
Here's another angle. See, it's not the body. It's not Graham's body. It's where the ball is.
25.
Jeff Graham in there as the punt return man because of the neck sprain injury suffered by Rod Woodson earlier today. That punt goes for 51 yards.
Please put 12 seconds on the 45-25 clock.
And they're trying to adjust the time. We're down to 2:43 to go in the fourth quarter. There is Rod Woodson.
Now you see George Stewart, the Pittsburgh special teams coach, standing there with Jeff Graham, and I'm sure he spoke to him about the decision that he made to return that ball, or at least field it. So maybe next time it comes up, you won't make the same mistake.
The play stands at call.
Which means no safety, that his forward progress was marked just outside the goal line. And Brisker back to pass from the end zone, gets it away to Hodge. Dangerous play. Seth Joyner on the tackle.
Well, of course, there's Reggie right up the middle. And Bubby was lucky to get rid of it. Now we have another Steeler that's down. Looks like one of their offensive linemen, their center, Dermontti Dawson, probably their, other than Ilkin, their most experienced guy.
And a timeout has been called with 2.5 remaining in the fourth. Dermontti Dawson shaken up. Dermontti in his fourth year out of Kentucky. The Steelers feel they've finally found a replacement for Hall of Famer Mike Webster in Dawson.
There you see Dermontti Dawson right there on the left side of your screen, right to the left of the goalpost there. You see him blocking the Philadelphia defense, and gets caught by his own guy, Carlton Hasselrig. That's where a lot of offensive line injuries occur. There's a pile, and one of your own teammates winds up falling on the back of your leg, but he looks like he may be all right.
Quick check of the Fram 10-minute ticker. Well, Cincinnati has tied up Washington. Atlanta by 7 over the Raiders. Mike Withacombe, recent addition to the roster. One-time Jet, one-time Charger, has replaced Dawson at center. And Brister able to complete to the tight end Eric Green, who has been very quiet in the second half after the superb first half. He had 6 catches in the first half. Rich Miano made the stop. It's a first down for Pittsburgh with 2 minutes to go in the fourth. All right here, let's take a look at today's Canon camcorder replay of the game. And Roy Green, in his Philadelphia Eagle debut, making his mark. A host of excellent catches, leading the Eagles to a couple of scores, 6 catches and 112 yards for the one-time Cardinal Roy Green. The Eagles with a 23-14 lead on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Bubby Brister throwing on the run, and a nice catch by Eric Green. Hurry-up offense for the Steelers last week at home. Bubby Brister heard the boos from the crowd, got off very quickly in the first half, but has not been able to generate much here in the second half. And Brister pops one deep. Just threw it away with white stone, well covered by Ben Smith. And Rich Miano, we're down to a minute and 33 to go in the fourth quarter. The Philadelphia Eagles seeking to make it a record of 3-1. And that would be their best start in 10 years. They opened up 6-0 back in 1981, and the Steelers headed to a record of 2 up and 2 down.
Doesn't look like they're going to lose any ground to Houston, though, this week.
Sideline pattern does not work intended for Merrill Hodge. Call the strong statements made after the shellacking by the Buffalo Bills. Strong statements made by defensive line coach Joe Green, who lashed into the Steelers, saying that they're only able to beat the lower level clubs around the NFL when they face the better teams such as Buffalo and certainly the Philadelphia Eagles. They have not been able to rise, and well, you could say the same thing here today.
Well, that's a plateau that they have to cross at some point in time, Marv. They have to prove to do it. They can do it, and but to do it, you know, they have to keep getting in those situations where these kind of games continue to be important. And hopefully later in the year for Pittsburgh, it looks like they're in better shape than they were last year at this time, and it'll happen.
That last pass intended for Chris Callaway, and it's a 4th and 10 coming up.
Here you see Reggie Wright on the pass rush and throwing Tunch Ilkin, and of course Brister gets rid of the ball in time, but Reggie would have been there had he been forced to hold it a little bit. He's got tremendous leverage and power and all the things you need. He's a prototype defensive lineman, and there he goes again.
And Bubby Brister on 4th down just launches one. Ernie Mills in the area, and it's intercepted. So the Eagles pick it off. Ben Smith with his first interception of the season. Mills, the intended receiver, and that will wrap it with 1:11 remaining. Ben Smith, the Eagles' #1 draft pick last year in his second season out of Georgia. Concluding matters, the executive producer of NBC Sports, Terry O'Neill. Coordinating producer of the NFL on NBC is John Francis. Today's game directed by Andy Rosenberg. Associate director Will Belke. Thanks to Jerome Ingram, Mr. Stats, Elliot Cow. Philadelphia Eagles will run it out.
I think you'll sense a growing confidence after this game. The Eagles team, you know, losing Randall had to create some doubt, but now going to Dallas, winning, and now this win over Pittsburgh, they're not the opponents that they're going to face down the road with the Washington Redskins and the Giants coming in, but they, you know, they have to have a sense of confidence that Jim McMahon can take in someplace. I really believe he can. With the guys he's got around him, he'll spread the ball around. I think they're off to a good start. And it's forced the Eagles to pull together. You know, Randall isn't here to make the big play for them anymore. Everybody's got to pull his share of the load, and I think that's what you're seeing. Defense, special teams, much improved from last year. The offense doing well.
Last year, the Eagles opened up at 1-3, so they now go 3-1 for the new head coach, Rich Kotite, who said right at the start of the year that he wanted to improve special teams. They have put a bit more attention in that area, and they have come up stronger. Also wanted to cut down on penalties. Well, that has not been the case, although today was kind of a light day in that department. And the Eagles have defeated the Steelers by the score of 23-14. An excellent day for Jim McMahon. Strong day all around for the receiving corps, and good running by Heath Sherman to help lead the Eagles to the win.